Hey guys, it's Chicken Jam. Ben, Matt, Benfield. So we got a lot of Bens. My middle name's Matt. No, it's not. Okay.
That was
All right.
about to throw me through a loop.
That was you didn't know that.
No.
So we want to talk about in this video about how we're full-time guitar players or musicians without being in Nashville. It's real popular to say I'm going to move to LA or Nashville or even New York or Atlanta even a little bit right now and try to be a full-time musician. But we are full-time doing what we do, so we're going to kind of tell our stories, how we got here, and then at the end we're going to talk about like what would we do if we were starting over like right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So first up, why don't you tell your musical journey?
Yeah.
Like how old were you playing? What was your first gig? What got you to right here? And then how are you full-time right now?
Right. My journey has changed and evolved in many different ways as my musical endeavors changed. But when I started, I started playing guitar at 15, and then I started playing gigs when I was 17 in a high school band. And we're here in Naples, Florida, by the way, or I was in Naples, Florida at the time.
Yeah.
And
Grew up here.
I grew up here. Yeah.
This is a classic beach
guitar
beach player.
Town. Yeah, and I was just playing bars and stuff, and
How'd you get that opportunity?
me and friends from school. We played.
So you
in the
put that
band.
together and then started getting gigs.
Yeah, we put
You
the
didn't-
band together and we played all original music, and it was.
How'd you get gigs? I mean, you started from nothing.
We got it from So we started playing at like an open mic at a place called South Street, and South Street, and
which didn't pay, right?
it paid. Yeah.
Oh, did it?
We actually made money. Yeah. We
On an open mic?
We made not at open mics, no, but we started playing open mics, and then at this place, and then we got a gig
I
there.
thought you were saying there was open mics paying.
Oh no, that'd be
Come
crazy.
on down to South Florida.
Yeah, no. So we
You
started
get
making
paid
money.
and you can even be terrible.
Yeah, you could just play 3 songs and they'll give you your check at the end of the night.
Don't matter what it is.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be a musician. You just as long as you attempt it.
Exactly. Yeah, just attempt
That's the way we roll.
Yeah. Anyway, so like I did that for a bit, and then I stopped doing that, and then I went full time with this bluegrass band playing banjo.
What kind of music was that? Like just popular? The first thing.
Oh, it was all original music, and it was this girl wrote all the songs.
What was the style?
It was like Taylor Swift, and that sounds.
Did it have lyrics that talked about slamming screen doors?
Yes. There were lyrics. It was all breakup songs, pretty much. And you know what? At the time, I just wanted to play guitar, and it was fine.
Yeah.
But
Point number 1: take the opportunity at hand.
yeah, I was also like 17, But like so at like 19, I went full time with this bluegrass band, and that was when I really started playing. We were playing like 4 nights a week, and then playing all over.
Traditional bluegrass.
Traditional bluegrass.
Salty Dog, Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
We played all that, and we played a lot of like other like just hits, but like bluegrass versions of them, So like old country songs or whatever it may have been, classic rock songs, but bluegrass versions.
But you didn't have a bluegrass version.
Everything was played at lightning speed. And that was kind of where I had to get my chops up, because
Had to learn to shred.
I had to learn how to shred, and it was like if you didn't
No
play,
distortion to hide behind.
no distortion, and like I wasn't even that good at the banjo at the time, so it was like that was where I learned how to like actually play in a band and keep up with people that are extremely good. And
What was all in the band?
it was just me, two guitar players. And
So banjo, 2 guitars.
yeah, and then like the guitar player would play like bass stuff on his guitar sometimes and like loop it. With like an octave.
Palm mute and an octave.
He would octave, yeah. So we would do something like that, and then every once in a while we would have bass and drums, and then that was when I started getting into a whole other thing, and then from there we just went. I played with all kinds of bands at that point, and then,
So you were just taking opportunity.
yeah, just taking opportunities. But like the thing is, here in Naples, Florida, we have cover band world. There's bar cover band.
So if you
world.
don't know where that's at, most people know where Fort Myers is at.
Okay, it's
so
south
like
of Fort Myers.
in 25 minutes, like I fly all the time, so
Yeah.
like I'm flying out of Fort Myers all the time. It's 25 minutes
Right.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean,
So like here the opportunities, there's bar bands, there's they're all cover bands pretty much, and then there's corporate bands which make an insane amount of money, which is what I did for a while in my 20s.
so explain what a corporate band is.
It's like all weddings, hotel gigs, like business
that
stuff.
pays.
Stuff that pays the bills like you wouldn't believe. And like that was where I made a lot. That was where I made the most money I've ever made in my life.
So what did you have to play to that? Like
stuff that you don't want to play. But you know, and it was cool for a while, but like I would say anybody who wants to be a musician and they want to make money, corporate is
in the beginning.
That's where you want to be. You wanted to go corporate. You know, even though you're going to play a bunch of stuff maybe you want to play it, I don't know. I didn't want to play it, but we played it.
Yeah, maybe you're hip to all the popular and recent years popular stuff. That's what you were doing, right?
Yeah.
Current and then
current.
recent years popular
Popular music and like old classic stuff, Motown, you know. And I mean, I
that-
liked it.
I love
Yeah.
James Brown.
Oh, I mean,
You
that
know.
was the stuff I liked playing. It was all the other stuff I didn't like about it. But like, it and I still do it from time to time. But I
You
would
still
say
just have to every
yeah.
now and then.
I love it, man. Yeah. Good
I
old
just started doing
nine-chord.
that the other day for my son.
Yeah.
I was listening to Corey Wong.
Oh,
and he was
yeah.
like, and I just kind of like picked something out, and I mean, he was like, he's 16 months old, and he was like,
He was jamming.
he was into some. I was like, oh, we got a funk musician here.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
anyway,
I mean, I liked the funk aspect of it, you know. But I mean, I would say to anybody who's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a musician and I'm gonna go to Nashville," and well, people who want to go to Nashville, like if you're making original music, maybe that's something you want to think about. But I have a different alternative for people that want to do that. I went to Nashville. You've been to Nashville.
Yeah.
The market there is extremely saturated.
Saturated, and I'll tell you this, it's pretty cool. Like for for people that don't want to get bitter over it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you should.
Right.
You could go like that on Broadway, man.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a 12-year-old kid shredding more than you could ever dream.
Yeah, somebody's going to be better than you.
It's
You're not
like-
going to be the greatest person there, you know. It doesn't matter how good you are.
So
There's
if you're
somebody's
not
better.
if you're not willing to make a move, live off of nothing, and then network.
Dude, you're not going to make you won't probably make anything. You're going to lose money.
Yeah, you got to be
Um,
willing to take the hit.
Yeah, you got to be willing to take that hit. But if like
And we're not
musicians-
against that, by the way. We're just talking about if we don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to make money and play music like corporate world here in Naples, Florida, Sanibel, Fort
And
Myers, whatever.
I would say that
Miami.
applies
Yeah.
because, there's nothing special about Naples that gives you more opportunity with corporate.
No, there's a lot. It's really just like this market of rich old people is where you can make a living and
That-
make a good living playing music.
Yeah, you have probably more house parties here than most places.
Yeah, we do house parties all the time. But
Yeah.
it's like but I could only stay in that world for so long until I was like, okay, I want to make my own music. I want to do original stuff. I'm tired of playing these
The
type of
artist
things.
side of you.
I want to do creative stuff, you know,
All right.
and that's when I made Moonstone Riders.
So let's talk about which is his band, they're awesome. It's a blend of like country funk and
Rock,
whatever
psychedelic,
rock,
everything,
whatever it comes across their plate, they just and they
Yeah.
kill it. And they've got great band members, all of them from singing to Jeffrey playing Jeffrey the bass player. We got to get him on Chicken
I got to
Jam.
get Jeffrey in
Jeffrey is the real deal.
He is.
Fill up the space when there's no rhythm guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Jeffrey's so
and
good.
it not be overplayed.
He plays a lot of notes, but he doesn't overplay. It never gets in the way of things somehow. But anyway, so like we started doing that, and then corporate disappears completely because they don't want anything to do with original music. You will just never get hired for a single gig.
And COVID.
And COVID happened. When we formed, when COVID happened. So like 2020, we became a band essentially.
Me and you met during COVID.
We did.
And
yeah.
there are some OG like TikTok videos of like when we first became friends.
Yeah.
He was
during
playing at a
COVID.
local church. I started playing at a local church, and we sat by each other.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I can't. Oh, I definitely I got to tell this. because this is great. So we're up there. Here's how I noticed Matt Benfield wasn't like a cookie cutter worship player.
Oh man.
And I'm not dogging worship players, but I'm just telling you, like, one, at the time, he didn't have a reverb pedal on his pedal board, which is a sign of that's a worship
it's a sign
crime.
that you play in a funk band, not a worship
And
band.
then I think they were doing this song called Waymaker, which has got some minery things on it, and all of a sudden it was like we were out in the Wild West with his tremolo pedal, and like I was waiting for Clint Eastwood to come up and be like, "Go ahead, make my day," because he
Oh,
was over there
man.
like boom, down, down, and like just playing straight up. like a Chris Stapleton low tone with the tremolo, and it kind of fit the song because it was minery or whatever.
Yeah.
But I knew right then, I was like, me and this guy gonna be friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
yeah, churches don't usually like
country tremolo.
Yeah, I just did whatever I wanted, and then they didn't say anything, so it was fine. But
yeah, so we met there, and then I came out and watched you. You were out. You and your bandmate Marsha was doing a duet on the beach.
Oh yeah.
And I still didn't know, and we went out that afternoon, on Sunday afternoon, and I watched you, and there was this little kid playing.
Oh, Jacob, yeah.
Jacob. He would let this little kid, Jacob, we're getting in the weeds, but I don't care, come up. How old was he, you think, at the time?
Like 3 or so.
Like 3. And he would stand up there with this guitar, not plugged in, and, fully...
Yeah.
And Matt would say, Jacob, I need you to take a solo, and walk off with this wireless thing, and he would be shredding beyond belief, and Jacob's up there thinking he's doing it. I mean,
Marcia would put the mic in front of him, and I'd just be in a different room playing the guitar.
Yeah, you're like, I'm tired. Will you finish the solo? And I mean, and he's throwing Eddie Van Halen shredding up there. And I really feel like he's like, is this coming out of my hands?
Yeah, he was really into it, yeah.
It was so cool. So anyway, then after that, then we, I moved here during COVID. My work went up, but because mine was at home. Yours was gigging, so all of a sudden you had time on your hands.
Yeah, we had time, and
what did you do during that time?
We literally, I broke my finger. I broke this finger. That's why I still have problems.
That was 2020?
Yeah, I got into a tubing accident, and I broke my finger, and that's when we created Moonstone, because I had to loop. I couldn't loop on my acoustic because I couldn't strum it. It hurt too hard.
Which, by the way, back then, not so much anymore, Matt was like a looping machine, man. He would make drum beats. He would grab an acoustic. He would throw in another electric. And then Marsha, the singer, would hit the ride cymbal when the chorus would come. Yeah. I mean, it was actually very entertaining and inventive. In fact,
so yeah, we had to create it around the fact that I broke it. I mean, I got 8 screws and a plate in this finger, and so I couldn't do much with my right hand.
Did you know me then?
Yeah, certainly. I don't know.
I didn't visit with flowers, apparently.
Yeah, interesting. But anyway, I started playing the drum machine with one hand because that's what I could do. I could loop with the drum machine with one hand and then play the guitar to it.
So, but you at that point in time were very full-time, but working very hard.
Yeah, we were working hard.
That was some of your most profitable gigging years. And I mean, as a gigger, when I found out what he's making, and we won't maybe disclose that, I was like, I don't know of any gigger making that, but you were working your tail off.
I was, but we were also not really doing a lot of original stuff. It's only been the past couple years that we've established ourselves as an original band. You know what I mean? But the pay has gone down exponentially. I'm not making nothing what I used to, but I'm okay with it because I want this band to be successful, and we're putting forth the effort we got to do. And really now it's just social media.
Half and half, right?
Oh, it's half and half. Yeah.
So, right now, let's talk about where you're at right now. It's half and half.
Mm-hmm.
You're working on your original stuff, doing social media.
Yeah.
The band has done some gigs. I know you've done some festivals and done some traveling.
We've done traveling. We've toured the U.S.
And then you've made up for it with some other things to be able to do that by doing some regular gigs, right?
Yeah, we do regular gigs. But, I mean, we play 3 nights a week still.
Yeah, okay.
And we play 50-50, half covers, half originals.
And he's even had some venues around here where he ticketed it himself. I think that's a good way to get into, and we'll talk about what I do because it's completely different. I thought this was interesting.
Your world and my world are so different, but yet we're here and we're hanging and we're making
drastic difference. And this is what's cool about this is we're going to see some different paths and some different ways to do things.
Yeah,
but
there's certainly a good market here. It's just Nashville is a big disappointment, I feel if you're trying to become a musician and make money, and if you're not doing some creative endeavor, but there's so many other places that you could go do creative endeavors.
Well, I would say this: Nashville is a traditional way of making it. It's not as easy to make it traditionally anymore.
No.
I'm saying this dogmatically, but really, this is just how I process things in my brain. This is what I think, and I think if you are in love with that traditional way of making it, going and hoping for a record label and everything like that, then buckle up and go and do it. But It's very difficult. Even if you get that, from what I can see, the budget isn't as high.
Yeah.
And basically, if you go to Nashville, you're trying to become an artist, to me, or you go there and gig. But I feel like people, maybe I'm wrong about this. I feel like people go there and gig so that in the meantime they can make just a few pennies, so they can see if they can get past that.
Right. Networking.
But it's so saturated there that you gotta,
it's insanely saturated.
I think you got to network, and then you got to decide, like, am I wanting to be a session cat? Am I wanting to be an artist?
Mm-hmm.
Am I wanting a gig with and I've seen some videos on here, like national acts sometimes pay less than the
they do,
like the 90s gigs, because it's just I don't know. I've not went and tried doing that. I even had somebody here recently talking to me about keys for a nationally known act. Like, they didn't offer it to me. They asked me if I wanted to apply, and they had an in, and I was like, I'm not moving to that.
Dude, like, I know people like that play in big country bands. Like, there was a guy who played with the Judds. I talked to him and like asking him what he makes on these gigs, and like,
it's just a it's
just
a paycheck.
Making the same or enough, if not more.
Oh, it's just a paycheck.
It's just it's really.
So you're not doing it for money, but you got to have money to live.
But it's also, at the same time, it's like, if you go to Nashville and you're like, I'm going to get a record deal, that's like, you don't want a record deal. Like, be your own
I don't, from what
manager.
I can tell, from what I can tell, like, I don't think, if I was wanting to do the artist side of things, I don't know, I wouldn't go that path, because it would be hard, and then even if you got it, I'm not sure what it's like now.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could, if you got the right people, but like the record deal thing, it's just it just gives a reason for people to take advantage of it.
People aren't buying records.
They're not buying records. It's just another way for another person to make money off of you, when you could do it, solely. I mean, you need a manager and all this kind of thing.
So my advice to the artist side of things, and I'm not one, by the way, this is just what I perceived and I viewed, would be I would really take into account that people are not buying records.
No.
It would be cool if they did.
I would love that. It's the streaming industry has completely taken over the music business.
But I would say this: don't go get bitter about that, because I've seen like the people get mad at that want the old way to work. Mm-hmm. I think you need to embrace the new way.
You do. That's why I spent a lot of my time being mad, and then now I'm just like, what? Screw it, man. Let's just do what we have to do in this day and age, and that is promote everything on social media. Get your name out there that way, and you make money
on your tribe.
Yeah, you build your tribe. Clan. You make money on your clan.
You guys are a tribe. You are a people.
Yeah.
You like guitars. You like organic sounding things.
We like interacting with our people. I think it's better, almost in a way. It's just because it gives you a chance as an artist to connect with your fan base, as opposed to just like, I made a record, a bunch of people bought it. I don't know who those people are. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a different way of, the music business has just drastically changed.
I would say the opportunity for someone that's doing things like you is work on your original music and social media, and then gig to make the extra dollars up.
You got to gig, and it's just a way to establish community in your community. By doing local gigs, and that's what we do. And we travel we go to St. Pete, we go to Dunedin, we travel in a general area.
Which I heard St. Pete has a scene.
St. Pete is the bomb.com, man.
Down here.
I love St. Pete.
I heard that, I can't remember, I was watching this channel, Justin Ostrander, which is a session player in Nashville, which I love his channel. And he talked about places that, he was talking about this subject, but he was talking about the other way. It's like, man, it's hard to do what he does and not be around a certain scene. And he said,
you have to, yeah.
There's partially one in southern Florida, and I was like, where?
St. Pete.
And then, like, I called you, and you're like, I think he's probably talking about St. Pete because there's a little music scene there. I didn't know about that.
It's a legit music scene. Like, there's a music scene here for very rich people, and they want what they want, and, like, we go in and do our thing, and they're scared of us. It's like frightening.
Oh, do you feel that?
Yeah, these old people get in there, and we're playing this crazy psychedelic country funk music, and they're like,
What do you think they want?
They just want to hear like Brown Eyed Girl, Sweet Caroline, stuff like that, Jimmy Buffett. But like at that, I'm speaking in a broad. I'm kind of generalizing here, but like it's
that's not bad music. It's not bad. It's the cookie. It's like after a while you're like, That is the gigging music.
That's-
You don't mind playing.
That is just the scene here, and that is what it is. You can make a lot of money doing it, you know what I mean? And there's certainly we still make a living here playing original music. We have a fan base here.
Yeah.
It's just, when you go to St. Pete, it's like everybody, it's like 90% of people there are into like your music, your original music. They want to hear something new.
So there's something to bring up. So like a scene has a mindset.
Yeah.
So they are ready. I'm gonna liken this as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine wanting a ribeye steak and going in to the world's finest coffee shop.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get your darn steak,
You
no
won't.
matter how good that coffee shop is. So
Yeah.
it depends on the mindset people are in.
It does.
So I'm gonna say like that scene maybe has a mindset of I'd like to hear some original music.
Yeah.
The house parties, they're like, I want you to play something we already like.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
know your client base on that and don't push back on that.
You got to know your client base exactly, and like we'll go into a place here and like I want to go in and play all original music, and then you look at the crowd and you're like,
Know your
I
crowd.
think we're probably going to be playing a lot of dance music tonight, so let's just do that. You know what I mean? But like at the same time,
I would like to know how Moonstone Riders do dance music.
we do a lot of dance music. I mean, we do everything our own way, but but we still try to beat ourselves.
Like a lot of 4 on the floor.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, we do that.
and then you, like,
No, I don't play. We play what we want still. We still play covers that we want. We don't play anything dumb, you know what I mean, anymore. But it's just we've stopped
more
making
funk probably.
Yeah, we've stopped making as much money, but it doesn't matter because I know that the payoff in the end is going to be better, you know what I mean? So it's just it takes time to build.
All right,
know?
advice for people that want to be an artist and gigger. Like, how would they start gigging, and then like, what would you do as an artist? Give them both those things.
Okay, if you like know how to play the acoustic guitar and you can sing your way through some old standard, 60s, 70s, 80s songs, come to Naples, Florida, get yourself a gig on the beach, make $500 every 3 hours. You know what I mean? It's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about what about the artist side of you? Like, I know that's a journey where you're still on or whatever, but like,
Yeah.
what would you recommend for somebody that wants to be an artist?
So I would say is being true to yourself as an artist, and like being as authentic as possible, but still and pushing on social media, because like that's your platform where you can completely be 100% authentic. And that's where, the people who really will want to connect with you, they're going to connect with you there. You know what I mean? And if you're in a town like this that doesn't exactly connect with authenticity, then it's like, you have to do a mix of both of sorts. But like, I don't know, find a clan base. I don't mean that in a weird way. Find your fan base and then go there, and that's kind of what we're in the phase of doing. We're trying to find where is the fan base, or we'll move there eventually. But for now, we're making money and still pushing on social media. So I'm still in the infant stage of this whole thing.
I would say enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey, like, because when you get to that, like every goal that I
Don't
get
be
to, I want something else.
Yeah.
So you're gonna just have to enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're gonna get bitter, and then you're not gonna like music, and that's not
Yeah.
what we're doing here.
I was in that phase, man, and I was judgmental towards a lot of people here, and judgmental towards the scene. But like, the more
you get mad at an industry for something they don't even have control over.
Yeah, it's like, don't get mad at these people. That's just who they are.
Like, we're not, you get mad at people for not buying products and streaming, but we get in our cars and stream.
Exactly. Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, you
well,
can't get mad at that if you're doing
can't.
it.
Yeah. You gotta be. Yeah, I don't know. I just say there's infinite more opportunities in the world to make music to make a living in the music industry, other than just like, I gotta go to Nashville, get a record deal. No, just push on social media and then grow from there. Find where your fans are. Go there.
Yeah, and we're not against that model. We just want you to realize, like, there are other options.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in love with that model, you got to go there and pay your dues.
You do. Yeah.
Like, that's, there's a lot of networking to be done, and if you want to do it by the handshake and knowing the people, you got to move. But if
Yeah.
you're just wanting to make a living and maybe you're wanting to be an artist,
Right.
you know, there are other options. And I would even say this, like we were talking about this earlier. The cool part, let's talk about the positive of what's going on right now. It used to be a record label, you would go and pitch, network, and they would say if you're good enough to get a shot.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now you get to just put it out to the marketplace on here and get better at doing that, and they get to decide whether they like it or not.
You'll get the people that actually like it, and it's not some other person making the decision for you.
The negative side to that is when you do it that way, and I don't think it's a negative. I like it, but it does take more work. Is you now have to learn content creation, recording video, whatever you're doing, and how to put it out there, how to title, put thumbnails up. So like I think the reason why people like the old way is because if they got the shot, they just got to be creative and do their thing.
Right.
If you got to just be a guitar player, or just a singer, or now you're like, hey man, until I make it and can hire a staff, I got to figure out how to run a camera and make it look good. I got to figure out how to pull up Logic or Pro Tools or whatever and learn how to record. And you could even play something good, and the first time you record, you lay down something good, and you're like, why does this sound so bad? Why is the volume so low when I put it in my car?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
You got to learn to mix.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
It's a lot of learning, but that's the way of the future. It's just
it takes more skill sets.
On board with where the world is going. You know, and stop being like. There's a lot of these old people that like are really against just like the way the music industry is going, and they just keep trying to push back to where it used to be. And it's like, look, stop fighting it. Just let it be. And
you got to learn a new game.
You got to learn the new game.
Yeah, and I would say that I'm going to predict this. Like I've had this in my brain.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a new wave of style of music, and I think there will be bands, but they will look very different.
It will.
I
look
think
different.
Because like bands are not as popular as they used to be, and what I mean, like there's artists, but like it used to be like a band. Like you guys are the Moonstone Riders. It used to be like Nirvana is a band. Mm-hmm. And they might have swapped out the drummer because they found out he couldn't play to a click the first time they recorded or something. I don't think I have Nirvana. I'm just saying, like, I've heard those stories, but for the most part, they grew up and they were a band together and stuff like that. But I think now there's going to be a producer, recorder, and maybe he plays something in the band.
Right.
Which is like what I kind of do for a living in a weird way. I think like that'll be a part of it, and then there's going to be a marketer, and like it'll be considered like, hey, it takes that team, and then there'll be the artist, whether that's 2 or 3 people or 1 person, and it's going to take that production because like you're going to have to figure out how to do quality and quantity at the same time. It's the new game.
It is,
and then you're going to have to know how to market. You're going to have so like I feel like the band, it's going to look. I feel like there'll be these teams, and maybe we won't call them bands. I don't know. But it's going to be an interesting time to where it's like individual rather than you come to this corporate that has guys that do it really good.
Right.
There's going to be there's people that get together that are, as you are good at the guitar, so-and-so is good at marketing, and so-and-so is good at recording, and so-and-so is good at, and you guys are going to come together like a band used to come together. Right. I think that might happen in the future. I
think you're absolutely right. The old way is fading away fast, and the new way is slowly presenting itself. I don't think it's even there yet. We don't even know what that's going to look like hardly, but we can assume, we can guess. Like I think that's exactly probably what's
I wonder, like, it'll now require not just talented, it'll require different skill sets.
It will. Different skill sets. Like, usually when you see bands that are making it these days that are like young guys, it's usually one dude or 2 in the band who knows how to do social media and mixing well. Like, take Wolfpack for an example. Like, you know Wolfpack, right?
Yeah.
So, like, Jack Stratton, that dude, he's an unbelievable marketer. You know, he's great at social media.
He thought outside of the box when it counted.
He mixes everything. He's great at content creation, and that's why those guys are popular.
Yeah, they didn't say, or maybe I don't know if they did at one time, but they didn't. They didn't say like, man, I hope somebody likes our sound so that way they'll pay for us to go to a big studio and record.
Right.
He said, no, we're going to record, and I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I bet you if you look at, I bet you he's got some things that he recorded at the beginning when he was learning, and he's like, I don't want no one to know about.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, he was at it for years, you know?
Yeah.
Same with, there's like a bunch of people, like, there's so many bands that have made it these days through social media. And, they're making it, man, and they're embracing the new business model.
And
they're almost creating it.
They may not have got that shot if they went to Nashville. Maybe they would have, or LA, or wherever they need to go.
Yeah. They didn't get no record deal.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah, that's truth. And once again, we're not against the record deal people. Like, I'm a huge fan of, like, session players and all that kind of stuff. So, like, I'm not against what they're doing.
Right.
In fact, like, I don't want that to go away, but it is going to look different. It's going to look different.
It's going to look different. It's
whether
just,
we like it or not.
The world is changing, and it's just, you got to either just learn the new way, get on board, or not. I don't know.
So I'm gonna briefly go through what I do to give you another option, but I'm gonna give you like the fast version of that. I really wanted to get
the recording world is
yeah, but like I started, so like I grew up in a very conservative church, and we like something called Southern gospel music. So Southern gospel has a lot of different styles in it, whether you can like it or not. And some of you, if you've heard of it, you know, like maybe Gaither. Like you might be like, my grandma used to watch Gaither on TBN on Saturday night, you know, and that was Southern gospel music. And in my church growing up, my dad was a pastor. That's what music we listened to in our cars. So I grew up on that. And what really took place, I've really thought about this recently, was that music was mainly recorded in Nashville, or Nashville style recording.
Right.
And so I was growing up listening to all the same players that might have been playing on secular albums, but they were playing for that because they were guns for hire. And so, like, it's funny now, like, I don't have the popular reference for certain styles, but I heard that style on a gospel song. Mm-hmm. So, like, I heard country licks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, where I heard that from was not Jerry Reed.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, and then I'll hear that later on. I'm like, hey, that's that lick off. And that wasn't the original place. They were playing in the style of
country, yeah.
But I got to learn. There's classical music, jazz, blues, and country heavy in that genre of music. Now, there's not a lot of live bands. There were at one time. By the time I came along, there was a lot of track music and just piano players. So I grew up listening to that. I was really into bluegrass as well.
Yeah.
So like I was a flat picker, but I also played the piano. By the time I got to want to travel and do music, that's the music I knew. For sure, and the jobs for musicians was piano players. Mm-hmm. So I brushed up on that and barely got a job with a group in Oklahoma. We were traveling full time. We were doing it. I was in my early 20s. But what I learned right there was two different things happened to me right there. One, I had to start, whatever the album played, I had to mimic it for the most part, at least 99%. And so, like, I spent hours learning what session players were playing there, and I would even learn some of the guitar parts just because I'd be so enthralled with the album that I'd learn, and then you would do that for a year and you'd get a new album.
Right.
Well, I was learning like popular rhythms and different things. So that, and I had time all of a sudden. If I wasn't on a bus and traveling, like I was home practicing, I was single, and so like there was some 40-hour practice weeks happening there.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is my job. I can practice. So I did a lot of practicing and got a lot better there. And then what happened, one of the first times I went into a studio and I saw these session players and I didn't super know that existed. All of a sudden, like, I saw these guys, I would play a song, and they would chart it out around kind of what I thought. They all sat down. We were at Hilltop Studios in Nashville, and there was a guitar player named Kelly Back, still a session player out there. Bruce Watkins, I think, was a utility player. Then there was Dirk Johnson was a piano player. I can't remember. There's a few different people that were playing on that. And, like, it blew my mind. Because I was like, I can play mostly what's on the radio and stuff if I put my time into it.
Yeah.
But, like, they'd never heard some of those songs. And, like, they charted down some little numbers. And they all passed it around. And first take, it was like, boom, sounded like the radio thing. I was like,
nice.
No one was even singing.
Yeah.
I was like, what just happened? So then we went out to eat. And the guitar player, Kelly Back, he probably don't remember this. He probably don't really know me. I saw him on there. I think he's got a YouTube channel. Follow that if he's still posting there. And I was like, what happened in there? I wanted to know, like, how did you know? You didn't even know the song, learning it, and there was no sheet music, no anything. He was like, and he talked to me. He's like, man, you need to practice rhythm, you need to practice chords, and then you learn. He was like, here, you learn some numbers and do this and everything. And he was like, scales, chords, and he gave me some information that blew my mind. that went from practicing licks to like I need to practice music. Like,
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah,
And
there's a time in a musician's career where practicing licks and practicing riffs and everything fades away, and it's like, how do I make music? How do I make good
right.
music?
And they would like,
Yeah.
and so like he was like, I can't remember how it all went down, but basically I got hooked on
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't want to be a live performer. I want to be a studio guy. These guys,
Right.
we're the fake version of what's going on in there.
Yeah.
So then I got hooked on session players and stuff, and I would like just open up credits back when we had albums and
Yeah.
CDs and just look and see who's on there. And I fell in love with like Brent Mason and some of those guys. And that advice and that experience brought me to, man, I bought, a little interface. Like home recording was early. Like you couldn't do what you could do now, but I was trying it.
You were doing it, yeah.
I was trying it. The first time I laid down to a click, to a metronome, I was like, I think there's some latency on my keyboard because it's falling behind.
Exactly. Oh,
and really, I just had timing issues.
Oh man, that was me with a looper pedal. I'm just like, there's something wrong with this thing. And it's just like, no.
It must be the latency.
Yeah, there's
milliseconds.
latency. Something's wrong. Like, no, you just don't know how to play to a click.
Yeah, so I really got experience there, and then years have went by, and I've done a lot of things. I've been on staff at churches as music ministers. I traveled with several different of those gospel groups and played professionally and did that and jumped on a bus. I would go back and forth from that from church jobs till 2020 hit, and I was at a church and kind of traveling in that music with a certain... there was like 3 things going on that I've always done all in one job a little bit.
Right.
And it came down to my side stuff was starting to pay. I was making home. So this is one way that you can make money. That's what I really want to get to is like, I make a lot of backing tracks for that genre of music and for other genre, or you might say like in secular music, there might be like demos.
Yeah.
Like you're making the music and I play a lot of different things. So I had for 10 years started studying how do I make these tracks, and I learned a lot about rhythm, dynamics, how to mix, how to do this. These are skill sets I was learning, how to run a DAW, how to, a lot of those things. And then by that point in time, and this is my advice to somebody that would like to get into that, do not, if you are halfway decent at it, in my opinion, I see so many people, they're like, I want to do what you're doing. And they get on Facebook and say, hey, I'm going to start recording backing tracks or demos for people. Hire me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what everybody does, and that's the worst way to get business to do that. If you want to be like a home recording track player or something, because you can make a living. I am straight up made a living and moved to Naples off that. Now, I do several things, but like that got me here. I mean, those things, I could just do that. And what you need to do is record a track.
Yeah.
Whether anybody's paying for you or not. Or you could go find a client and say, I want to do this for you for free.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the experience, and when you get good at it, you post about it and show, hey, I'm making this track for so-and-so, or I'm just making this track because I couldn't find anybody that wanted my stuff, or whatever.
Right.
And you show that you're doing it on there. You do that for 30 times and post it out there and network online and stuff like that, and before long they say, so-and-so does that, and I've heard some of his stuff is pretty good. But if you go on there, even if your stuff's good, most of the time, and say, I want to start doing this, they're like, oh, I hope he does good. He's just starting. Yeah. And it does something in the brain to where it takes away from people that actually want to hire you.
Yeah.
So I would say the best thing to be in the music business, gigging, artistry, recording, or whatever, would to be doing business.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be doing it. You need to be networking. You need to be making tracks. I don't care if it's for free. You took like whatever gig you could at the beginning.
Yeah, I just played whatever I could play to make money, and then I just wanted to play music and make a living doing it, you know what I mean? And then eventually it got to the point where I want to be creative and be authentic musician and do something and give something to the world that, maybe challenges their thinking in a way, just like, and it helps people in a way, but I want to be authentically doing that and giving that to them, you know what I mean? And so, that's when I had to make that mental shift. And then you enter into a whole other world of music that you never knew about, you know what I mean? It's just this...
Yeah, I would say you got to start doing it. You got to start practicing. If you're not good enough, you get
somewhere.
Better.
Just start wherever you're
going to have to take that bad gig. You're going to have to make that bad soundtrack. You're going to have to make that, you're going to have to put up that video on your iPhone that looks terrible and learn, and people maybe make fun of you. Half of them like them, half of them don't. Like,
Yeah.
we get negative comments. Like, to me, that's like a sign of success.
It
like,
is. When we get negative, that's when I know I'm like, okay, this video is gonna do good.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we get people like seeing negative things. Great.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a free video.
Dude, it's just you gotta fail fast. I think is the
you got to
mentality.
be doing. Don't
Yeah.
be scared of failure. There it is.
Just fail fast.
There it is.
Don't be scared of it because you're gonna do it. You're gonna have to fail. I mean, I played Taylor
You got to
Swift.
do something to fail.
Yeah, I played
think-
Taylor Swift. Teeny bopper music when I was a teenager. But
Teeny bopper.
yeah.
Bring
that's-
back that genre of music.
That's such an old person saying, but like
Teeny bopper.
I couldn't think of anything else. Terrible, dude.
What is teeny bopper music? I've heard of that.
Just like teenage music, I
It's
guess.
like a 70s, like,
It's like a 70s
bubblegum pop.
bubblegum. Yeah.
Bubblegum, teeny
Dude.
bopper.
Yeah, but like I had to do that. I had to go through it because that was the only thing that I could do at the time.
Truth.
I had a girl that knew how to sing, and me and my buddy, I played guitar, he played bass.
Matt doesn't ever give himself the credit on the old singing, but Matt can sing.
Eh.
No, truth. Like he's got a, you got like a little recognizable tone thing going on.
Yeah.
It's like thick.
It's
It's like a smoother Dirks Bentley.
It's just the fact that I don't know how to sing.
Yeah,
is that
bull.
it comes out in a weird way.
We've got an Amazing Grace Scooby Doo song that you guys definitely need to
The
hear.
Amazing
someday.
Grace Scooby Doo is awesome.
I
Yeah.
made it for a vacation Bible school.
Yeah.
And like, we did it Amazing Grace to the tune of Scooby because they had a Scooby Doo theme, but they wanted Amazing Grace, and I mean, we'll bring that on here sometime. That thing is dynamite.
Yeah,
We got to get. I
it's
was like,
like-
this doesn't fit my voice. I was like, you need to come over. I need somebody that's got a little beach on
It
them.
was Amazing Grace to the tune of Scooby Dooby Doo.
And it was like, I mean, like we made the
It was
track
good.
together. I think I put the organ on it. You played the guitars.
Yeah,
and-
it was fun.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, any other advice before we get off here, man? I know this has been a little different episode, but like I know there's a lot of guitar players and musicians on here, and like if you're like me, I used to wonder like, how can I do this for a living? And this is our experience, and I would just say you guys need to get doing and enjoy the ride and take opportunity.
I would say that like just what we discussed, that's like 6 or so different ways you can make a living.
And there's a ton more.
There's a ton more. These are just the ways that we've made a living playing music.
FYI, when I set out to kind of work for myself, it took me 4 years of trying a lot of stuff.
Right.
And like there was a lot of failures in there. You're just seeing like, well, now you're full time doing music, and like I'm like, yeah, but you didn't see the 4 endeavors that didn't work out.
Right.
Like you know, hey, this is a new endeavor
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
So like share
Because
it with
I
your
think-
friends.
I
Let
think
it work
it's
out.
cool because a lot of people, when you ask them like, "Oh, make a living in the music business," they're like, "Nashville," and it's like, no.
L.A.
Don't think
Nashville.
that way. There's so many other ways, and that's, I think, the point of this video. So I think, yeah, there's just follow your heart, do what you fail fast.
And you're talking about a fan of Nashville.
Yeah.
But like that's you better buckle up if you want to do that.
Yeah,
and I'm all for you if you want to.
Yeah, be prepared.
Be prepared for that. Like
be
that.
prepared.
Because like you're gonna go. Man, I heard Brent Mason say like, hey, and they I think they call it a 10-year town. So
Yeah.
buckle up. You ain't gonna make money for 10 years. If it's gonna happen for you, go out there and hang out. I'll cheer you on when you go.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like I'm gonna probably be by the beach.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I mean, like, and maybe if you want to go and do that, work up an endeavor like this at home, and then you've got something to be able to go in. That's a good.
That's
plan.
the thing. Yeah, you come here, make good money. I mean,
Have income.
And then if you have your income, and then do what you want to do, push it online.
Yeah, like so. Matt grew up here. I wanted to move to the hot beach. So I grew up in Illinois, and I hate the cold. I've lived a lot of different places, but I just and so like eventually I was like, where can I go to where like there's no winter?
Oh my god!
And I came to Naples, Florida, and I was like, there's no winter here. I was like, and I love luxury things.
Yeah.
And Naples is a big, old, fat, hot luxury city.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? This is the biggest difference between me and you, but
Yeah,
somehow we're really good friends. I am like the absolute opposite of that. I hate it. I hate the heat. I love like crisp air. I don't even. I mean, I'm not a big.
So I travel a lot and do some consulting and do music and stuff like that, like flying. And I'll be like, there's one time I was in Greensboro, North Carolina, And you're like, well, what's going on up there? I'm like, man, it's disgusting up here. It's so overcast and it's like 60 degrees and everything. And you're like, that sounds so good. I was like, do you also love vampires?
Yeah, I love Overcast. Overcast is like my favorite thing.
Bro,
if
move
it's
to
overcast,
the Midwest.
I go outside and I'm like,
I hate it.
I love it. And like,
I grew up 8 months overcast. I'm over it.
It's hilarious. And like, I'm not a fan of luxury things. I mean, look at my guitar. Like,
that is the truth.
Look at this thing. It's the opposite of luxury.
It's a
cat with sunglasses on the back.
A Frankentelly.
Yeah. So like, I'm not a big luxury guy, but I live in Naples, Florida. I was born and raised.
It's a Strelly.
Yeah. But people like us can still get together and make music and have fun. You know, it's just.
All right, you got to give him one thing on the way. We'll do a lick and A and then get out of here.
Okay.
Because we didn't really play, but.
Yeah. I guess we should play.
You play. Give me a hook and A, like an intro or something.
A
right
hook
off the
and
bat.
A?
Yeah, give me something. No, that's like a lick. Like earlier, you were playing like an intro, like as Amos Moses is a hook and an intro.
Yeah, Amos Moses.
Give me
is a
something
hook.
like that.
All right, I'll do something like D or something like that. Or I'll do something in A. Okay. Something.
We played something for you. This was a different video, but we just wanted to make sure there was some chicken in here. Let's end with the old chicken.
All right. There it is. All right, you put it on this time.
Yes.
This is the first. Nice.
I can't see.
That's my problem. Every time I put that on, I'm like, where am I at on the fretboard?
There was a live chicken break for you guys.
Yeah.
All right. We love all of yous out there. Keep on playing, and this is Chicken Jam.